Are you tired of working hard and yet struggling to achieve financial success? Do you feel like no matter how intelligent you are, your bank account just doesn't reflect it? Well, it turns out that financial success has less to do with intelligence and more to do with your money habits. But don't worry, understanding and changing these habits is easier than you think. In this video, we will take you through the 18 key lessons about money from Morgan Housel's book, The Psychology of Money. By the end of this video, you'll know how to avoid common money mistakes, measure your financial success, and achieve financial independence. So subscribe to the channel and let's get started. Why no one is crazy? Chapter 1 from the book The Psychology of Money says, no one is crazy. Money is one of the most powerful forces in the world, and its impact on our lives is undeniable. The author says people have different views and experiences when it comes to money, and that these differences do not make a person crazy. This means that you have a unique perspective on money, and the way you view it differs from others. On the other hand, we all know that books can teach us a lot about money, but they won't tell us everything. This is because there's a big difference between reading about something and actually doing it. You need to experience it to really understand it. For example, imagine you're a lottery winner who has been spending money like crazy for years. You think money can buy you happiness, security, and respect. You have bought expensive cars, houses, clothes, and vacations. You have given money to your friends, family, and charities. You are confident that you are living the dream and everyone else is jealous. But then something unexpected happens. You lose most of your money in a bad investment, a lawsuit, or a divorce. The IRS comes after you for unpaid taxes. Your friends and family turn against you or abandon you. You realize that you have no savings, no skills, and no purpose. How do you feel? How do you explain this outcome? How do you react? If you're like most people, you probably feel depressed, hopeless, and ashamed. You might blame the world for being unfair, the people for being ungrateful, or yourself for being stupid. You might spiral into addiction or develop thoughts that put your life in danger. Or you might try to start over and rebuild your life from scratch. But what if there is another way to look at the situation? What if you could acknowledge that your view of money was not crazy, but simply different from others? What if you could understand that other people had different experiences, beliefs, and biases that influenced their perception of money? What if you could respect their choices even if you disagreed with them? This lesson can help us become more open-minded, empathetic, and humble. When it comes to money, it can also help us avoid costly mistakes, such as spending more than we earn, ignoring the risks, or being overconfident. By recognizing that no one's crazy, we can learn from others' perspectives and improve our own. Remember, it is not what happens to you, but how you handle it. So, always try to stay positive and let go of all the bad feelings. Be confident, strong, and take care of all the tasks that need to be done. Success will follow as a result of your positive attitude. How luck and risk work in finance. The next topic on 18 lessons from the psychology of money talk about luck and risk. The author says that luck and risk are siblings that both have a profound impact on people's financial journeys. He uses the examples of Bill Gates, who was lucky to have access to a computer at a young age. There has been a lot of talk about luck and how much of it plays a role in success. Some say that luck is all we have, while others argue that hard work is the key to success. The real difference between these two sides is the way they define luck. Now, imagine you could ask some of the most famous and successful entrepreneurs in the world how they made it to the top. What do you think they would say? Would they talk about their hard work, their sacrifices, their humble beginnings in a car garage, and so on? Of course, they would. And we're not saying they didn't work hard to achieve their dreams. But what we're saying is that there is something else that they often forget to mention. The people who helped them along the way. The people who gave them a chance, a tip, a connection, or a support that made all the difference. For example, do you know the story of Gates and Allen? Bill Gates and Paul Allen were friends who shared a passion for computers. They met at a private school in Seattle where they had access to a computer lab that few other schools had at the time. They spent hours learning how to program and creating software for fun. They were lucky to have this opportunity, which gave them an edge over other programmers in the 1970s. They also had a vision for the future of personal computing, which led them to start Microsoft together. However, luck and risk also played a role in their partnership and friendship. Gates was lucky to have parents who supported his decision to drop out of Harvard and pursue his business. Allen was unlucky to be diagnosed with cancer in 1982, which forced him to leave Microsoft. Gates was also more ambitious and ruthless than Allen, which created tension between them. Gates wanted to dominate the software market and was willing to take risks to achieve his goals. Allen wanted to explore other interests and was more cautious about his investments. Their different personalities and priorities eventually drove them apart. Luck and risk influenced both Gates and Allen's financial success and personal happiness. Gates became one of the richest people in the world, but also faced legal battles and public criticism for his business practices. Allen recovered from cancer and became a billionaire, but also struggled with addiction and loneliness. Both men had their share of ups and downs, which were not entirely due to their own choices or abilities in business. By the way, if you're enjoying the video so far and want us to create more topics like this, comment the word video so we know. Moving on to the next subject, 18 lessons about money from the book The Psychology of Money says never enough. In this chapter, Housel explores the concept of enough and how people's egos and social comparisons can prevent them from being satisfied with their financial situation. Let's use the examples of John D. Rockefeller, the richest man in history, and Rajat Gupta, a former McKinsey executive, to explain how even the most successful people can fall prey to greed and envy. John D. Rockefeller was the richest man in the history, who amassed a fortune of over $300 billion in today's dollars from his oil business. He was also a philanthropist who donated millions to various causes. However, he was never satisfied with his wealth and always wanted more. He once said that he would retire when he had $100 million, but when he reached that goal, he changed it to $1 billion. He also suffered from anxiety and depression and had poor health for most of his life. On the other hand, Rajat Gupta was a former McKinsey executive who had a successful career and a net worth of over $100 million. He was also involved in various humanitarian projects and was respected by his peers. However, he was not content with his status and wanted to be part of the elite circle of billionaires. He became friends with Raj Rajaratnam, a hedge fund manager who was involved in insider trading. Gupta leaked confidential information to Rajaratnam in exchange for a stake in his fund and other business opportunities. He was eventually caught and convicted of fraud and sentenced to 2 years in prison. He also lost his reputation and his fortune. Have you ever wondered how much money you need to be happy? You might think that the more money you have, the happier you will be. But that's not always true. Sometimes, having more money can make you want even more money, and you end up feeling unhappy and stressed. This is because you start comparing yourself to other people who have more than you, and you feel like you're not good enough. You also start spending money on things that don't really make you happy, but only make you look good in front of others. This is what happened to some very rich and famous people like Rockefeller and Gupta, who were never satisfied with their wealth and ended up doing bad things to get more money. They didn't know when to say enough. One way that can help avoid falling into this trap is knowing that having enough is not about how much money you have. It is about how you think about money. We should be grateful for what we have and not let our ego or social status control our decisions. One should spend money on things that make one happy, not on things that make us look happy. In addition, you should have your own goals and standards and not compare yourself to others. In conclusion, this is the way to be happy with your money. Next comes the magic of compounding. Confounding compounding is one of 18 lessons about money from the psychology of money. This chapter is about the power of compounding, which is the process of earning interest on interest over time. Housel explains how small additions over time can lead to huge outcomes, using examples from nature and history. He uses Warren Buffett as a case study of how long-term investing can yield amazing results. Warren Buffett is one of the richest people in the world because he started investing when he was very young and never stopped. What people don't know is that most of Buffett's fortune was made after he turned 50. He also lived a long time, which gave his money more time to grow. Buffett was smart about choosing good companies to invest in, but he also knew that compounding was his secret weapon. He once said that his life was like a snowball rolling downhill. The longer it rolled, the bigger it got. However, this shows that patience and consistency are key factors for financial success. One should never underestimate the impact of small actions over time, whether positive or negative. Compounding can work for or against us depending on how we use it. One example can be saving for retirement. If you start saving a small amount of money each month from a young age and invest in a diversified portfolio, you can benefit from compounding interest and grow your wealth over time. However, if you delay saving or spend more than you earn, you can end up with compounding debt that becomes harder to pay off. Next comes getting wealthy versus staying wealthy. Getting wealthy versus staying wealthy is one of 18 lessons about money from the book, The Psychology of Money. The author says that people focus too much on building wealth and ignore the issue of keeping it, which he says requires some combination of frugality and paranoia. He also says that getting wealthy depends on taking risks and being optimistic, while staying wealthy depends on being cautious and pessimistic. Have you ever heard of someone who won the lottery and then went broke? Or someone who inherited a fortune and then squandered it? Or someone who made a lot of money in business and then lost it all in bad deal? These are examples of people who got wealthy but didn't stay wealthy. They didn't know how to manage their money or protect it from bad luck or bad decisions. They thought that having more money meant having more happiness, but they were wrong. On the other hand, have you ever heard of someone who saved and invested their money wisely and lived comfortably for a long time? Or someone who created a successful company and shared its profits with its employees and customers? Or someone who donated their money to good causes and made a positive impact on the world? These are examples of people who stayed wealthy. They knew how to keep their money and use it for good purposes. They didn't care about showing off or impressing others, but they were happy. People who get wealthy often have different skills than those that stay wealthy. In other words, getting wealthy is about taking chances and being hopeful, while staying wealthy is about being careful and cautious. A person needs both qualities to succeed financially, but we also need to know when to use them. Therefore, it is important to avoid wasting money on things that don't really make you happy. The Psychology of Money says tails, you win. Tails, you win is the next lesson about money from the Psychology of Money. In this chapter, Housel defines a tail as a very rare occurrence, again emphasizing the role of luck or chance in finance. Have you ever heard of someone who made a lot of money by doing something that no one else thought was possible or profitable? For example, Walt Disney, who created a global entertainment empire from his cartoons and theme parks. This is an example of a person who benefited from tails. This was a very rare and unexpected event that had a huge impact on his financial success. These events are not normal or predictable, but they can change everything in an instant. To help you understand how tails work in finance, you must understand that financial outcomes are not fair or balanced, but rather follow a rule where a few things make most of the difference. This means that you don't have to be right all the time to make money, as long as you are right about a few big things. This also means that you should be humble and curious and not assume that you know everything or that things will always stay the same. The book stated that most financial outcomes are not distributed evenly, but rather follow a power law, where a small number of events account for the majority of results. Freedom is one of 18 lessons about money from the book The Psychology of Money. The author tells his story of how he always dreamed of becoming an investor. He admires the wealthy and successful people who make a fortune from the stock market. He thought that if he could join them, he would be happy and fulfilled. He studied hard, got a degree in finance, and applied for a job at a prestigious investment firm. He was overjoyed when he got hired, but his joy soon turned into misery on his first day. He realized why investors earned so much money. They worked like slaves. They had to wake up before dawn, analyze endless reports and data, make split-second decisions, deal with angry clients and bosses, and stay in the office until late at night. They had no time for hobbies, friends, or family. They lived under constant stress and pressure. They sacrificed their health and happiness for money. Housel felt cheated and disillusioned. He had traded his dreams for a nightmare. He wondered if he had made a terrible mistake. He wished he could quit, but he had signed a contract and had debts to pay. He felt trapped and hopeless. He realized that money wasn't the key to happiness. He learned that being an investor was not a glamorous or easy career. He understood that he had to find his own passion and purpose in life. He decided to change his attitude and make the best of his situation. He started to read books and blogs about personal finance, psychology, and happiness. He discovered that there were different ways to invest, not only in stocks, but also in himself, his skills, his relationships, and his community. He began to write about his experiences and insights on his own blog. He found out that he loved writing more than investing. He enjoyed sharing his stories and lessons with others. He received positive feedback and encouragement from his readers. He realized that he had a talent and a voice that could inspire and help people. He decided to pursue his passion and become a writer. He quit his job at the investment firm and started to work as a freelance writer. He wrote articles and books about investing, money, and happiness. He became a popular and respected author and speaker. He earned less money than before, but he was happier and more fulfilled. He had found his true calling. He learned that happiness was not about how much money you have, but how you use it to live a meaningful life. He learned that investing was not only about making money, but also about making a difference in the world. He learned that success was not about what you achieve, but who you become. Morgan Housel says that the most powerful asset someone can have is the ability to get up every day and say, I can do whatever I want, when I want, with who I want, for as long as I want. Do you agree with this quote? The next chapter on 18 lessons about money. The author named this chapter The Man in the Car Paradox. Housel says that when people see someone driving a fancy car, they imagine themselves driving it rather than admire the driver. Since people who spend lavishly on visible goods may be sacrificing their long-term financial security and happiness for short-term gratification, we should avoid social comparisons and focus on our own goals and values. Here is the story of Tom. Tom had always dreamed of owning a Ferrari. He worked hard as a lawyer and saved up enough money to buy one. He thought that driving a Ferrari would make him feel successful and respected by his peers and clients. He imagined that people would look at him with admiration and envy as he zoomed past them on the road. However, Tom soon realized that his Ferrari did not bring him the happiness and recognition he expected. Instead of admiring him, most people ignored him or resented him for flaunting his wealth. Some even assumed that he was a jerk or a crook who had cheated his way to riches. Tom also felt stressed about maintaining his expensive car and paying for insurance, repairs, and parking fees. He worried that someone might scratch or steal his precious vehicle. He enjoyed driving it for a while, but soon got used to it and took it for granted. He started to look at other cars and wonder if they were better or faster than his. He felt dissatisfied with his Ferrari and wanted to upgrade to a newer or more exclusive model. Tom realized that he had made a mistake by buying a Ferrari. He had wasted a lot of money on a status symbol that did not bring him any real value or joy. He wished he had spent his money on something more meaningful and fulfilling, like traveling, learning new skills, or donating to charity. He decided to sell his Ferrari and buy a more practical and affordable car. He also vowed to stop comparing himself to others and focus on his own goals and happiness. The next lesson about money. Wealth is what you don't see. In today's society, where we're constantly bombarded by images and messages of instant gratification, social comparison, and materialism, we live in a culture where we want everything now, and some people are willing to pay any price for it. We are influenced by the media and social media, where we see the glamorous and extravagant lifestyles of the Kardashians, celebrities, and influencers. Some people envy them and want to be like them. Some think that they are happy and successful because they have a lot of things. But we don't see the whole picture. We don't see the hard work, the sacrifices, the struggles, the failures, the risks, and the costs behind their success. We don't see the stress, the anxiety, the depression, the loneliness, and the emptiness behind their happiness. We don't see the lies, the scams, the frauds, and the fakes behind their authenticity. We don't see that some of them are not really wealthy. They are just rich. Some try to imitate their lifestyle by spending more than they earn, by taking loans that they can't repay, by buying things that they don't need or enjoy. They try to fake their wealth by showing off their things to others. They try to fake their happiness by pretending that they are satisfied with their lives. They try to fake their success by lying about their achievements and credentials. But this is a dangerous game. It not only puts their finances in jeopardy, but also their health and life. They end up in debt, in bankruptcy, in legal trouble, or in jail. They end up with health problems, mental problems, addiction problems, or become self-destructive. Additionally, they end up losing their friends, their family, their reputation, or their dignity. In some cases, some of them end up realizing that they were chasing the wrong things for the wrong reasons. They end up realizing that they were not really living. They were just surviving. Thank you for joining us on this insightful journey through the first half of the psychology of money. But wait, we're only halfway there. There's more wisdom, strategies, and eye-opening lessons waiting in the remaining chapters. Stay tuned for our upcoming video where we'll dive into the second half of this incredible book. Don't miss out on uncovering even more psychological money secrets that can transform your financial perspective. If you found this video helpful and want to catch the continuation, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. We'd love to hear from you too. Drop your own psychological money hacks in the comment section below. Your insights could help others navigate their financial journey. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and remember, your relationship with money starts with understanding your mind's influence. Cheers!